nation's founding. Right.
Hey, welcome in to a Monday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Wish I had great news for you. I don't. The economy is looks like it's on the brink of a bad market correction. And we do have Kamala Harris vice presidential selection to look forward to today. And a lecture from her husband on toxic masculinity, which is interesting, given what we found out about his past over the weekend. All that and another violent weekend in Columbus. Looking forward to talking to you about it, because I hear the band playing, so here we go. Do not jump. It'll be fine. Your 401k will not be evaporating by the end of the day, although it certainly looks that way. Economy is correcting, shall we say. Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, is taking some heat for being too late in correcting 11 rate hikes to stem the inflation that was created by Joe Biden's rampant spending. We'll have a lot on that today, including our normal Money Monday visit, well-timed, with Josh Pick of Aptus Wealth Management. That is at 12:35. We have the Middle East in an uproar. We're expecting an Iranian attack on Israel today. That, too, is a creation of Biden and Harris and their insane, stupid foreign policy, where they feel like no one can win a war. We just want to continue wars forever and ever and ever until what? I guess we run out of money to fund it, or the people who are fighting just get tired of bickering with each other and murdering each other. Unfortunately, some citizens in the city of Columbus are not tired of murdering each other. This is unfortunate timing, as we had a very violent weekend in the city where we had 2 people shot and killed, 5 or 6 others injured in shootings. We also had a person run down by 2 vehicles. The first one probably killed the person. It fled. The second one hung around. And we have a crazy person on the loose in our city. So let's get to all of that, because I can't wait to work my way to a statement from our mayor, who predictably came out with a statement, and it's vintage Andrew Ginther, man. But first, let me get to the violence and mayhem in the city. And yes, I don't know why they played that sounder at the top of the hour that says portions of the following program are pre-recorded, but I guarantee you this portion isn't pre-recorded. No, this is more of the same violence that we are used to. 2 people killed, 6 others injured in separate shootings across the city of Columbus this weekend. Starting what? Friday at 5:01 p.m.? No. We packed all that violence into 5 p.m. Saturday to 6:19 a.m. Sunday. Busy people with their violent guns that hop off their nightstands and get violent through no human act at all. One of the victims didn't die, but was shot, was a juvenile. 5 shootings since 5 p.m. Saturday. 2 injured Saturday evening in the Milo Grogan neighborhood. That's East 3rd, Lexington, 5:30 p.m. Gunshot wound to the hand, another with a gunshot wound to his upper body. Ouch, that hurts. Then about an hour and a half later, a 28-year-old man was killed outside a gas station in southeast Columbus in a shooting. Then we had at 9:42 p.m. Saturday night, East 13th in Cleveland and South Linden, one of the most violent areas of our city. 3 victims, 2 of which transported themselves to the hospital. Then just before midnight, a 36-year-old man on the northeast side was shot and killed near East 5th and Murray Avenue. Then Sunday, 6:19 a.m., a juvenile gunshot wound to the leg. And this finally stirred Mayor Andrew Ginther's ire. And here's the statement. Are you ready? If you've ever heard a statement from Mayor Ginther after any violent weekend in Columbus, and there are many violent weekends in Columbus, you know what's coming. But let me just read it to you for, like Letterman used to say, entertainment purposes only. Did Andy go on camera and answer questions? No, of course not. Probably had a tea time. His statement read like this: violence is never acceptable, and we remain committed to protecting and accelerating the progress we have made in significantly reducing the number of homicides and violent crime in the city of Columbus. This work is ongoing, and it requires that we continue. You've heard it all before, right? All the talk about prevention, intervention, enforcement, collaboration, a word salad of wokeism. And of course, then it always traces back to the community doing the work. Never Andrew saying, you know what we really need to do? We need to get the judges in this town to punish crime at low levels so we don't have crime at high levels. He never works his way to that, because that would, of course, force him to claim some personal responsibility and accountability for his policies and those of his administration, which he is never going to do. But you're going to keep voting for him in areas of the city that I just described, where we had all this violence this weekend. Now, this comes in the aftermath of a Thursday report from mothers of murdered children in Columbus, who have an initiative called Operation Under Triple Digits. And they say that if we can get our average of homicides to 7 or fewer a month, then they can meet their goal of having fewer than 100 homicides in the city. We've had over 200. We've had like 4 of the 5 most violent years ever. I'm a little fuzzy on the numbers, but I'm pretty sure in saying that, you know, I don't know about 4 of the 5, but we've had 4 of the most violent years in terms of homicides under the feckless stewardship of Andrew Ginther as mayor. He's packed a lot of bloodshed into what is now his 3rd term. But the homicide numbers at the end of July, according to this initiative, 61 total homicides in Columbus in 2024. I'm not buying that. You know what I think that is? I think that is classifying some crimes that should be charged as homicides or ruled as homicides as something other than homicide. That's what that is. That's a way that works here. It works around the country. Crime statistics are not down. That is a lie you are being told because it is a presidential election year, and Democratic administrations throughout our mostly major cities and certainly at the head of our federal government do not want to be held accountable for criminality flourishing all throughout the country. All throughout the country. I'm looking right now at a tweet of a young black woman, Lauren Nicole Leonard, killed in Virginia by an illegal immigrant, Jameer Cruz Ferrara, who had 3 prior arrests. Lauren Nicole Leonard. I'm sure right now, as I speak, I'm sure LeBron James is putting together a tweet to express his outrage over the Biden and Harris administration allowing a thrice arrested illegal immigrant to be free to murder a young black woman. I'm absolutely sure LeBron is doing that because he wasted no time in vilifying the Columbus police officer who intervened to save the life of one black woman. And unfortunately, the only way to do it was to take the life of another young black woman who was threatening her with a knife. You remember Ma'Khia Bryant? LeBron James had a picture of that cop on the internet that day. I told you then, and it took the city of Columbus, which wants to vilify cops and abide crime in an effort to stay in power and curry favor with poor neighborhoods in the city by not putting criminals from those poor neighborhoods in jail when they commit crimes. LeBron had a tweet and a picture of that cop up that afternoon. He will not say a word about this. Not a word. Well, he's in Paris, Bruce. He's a really busy guy. Okay, sure, fine. I'm sure if he was back here, just a kid from Akron, sitting on his couch, this would outrage him. You and I both know that's not true. So this is where we are. Now, what about the other violence in the city over the weekend? Pedestrian dead crossing Sullivan Avenue Saturday afternoon. Now, it's not dark out. Saturday afternoon, 5:15, run over by a Honda Pilot that fled the scene and then hit by a Jeep Cherokee that stayed. I don't know how the coroner could possibly figure out which one killed him, but the pilot, the driver of that car, is obviously going to be the one who's in more of a legal jeopardy. Is this a new way that the drug gangs and the illegal immigrants in our city have found to exact their revenge on people is just run them over with cars? We don't know. Will we ever find out? I doubt it, because we wouldn't want to mark this down as a homicide, because that would hold Andrew Ginther and his administration accountable. No, not really, because nobody in this town seems interested in that except me and you. And we have no power, because we can vote for Republican candidates in this city all we want to, if we can even find them on the ballot. It's hard to find them on the ballot. Republican judges elected as Republicans don't run for re-election as Republicans. They change and become Democrats because they know they can't get elected in this town if they are Republican. Does anybody remember what a great city Columbus was back during the administrations of Buck Reinhardt and Tom Moody and Greg Lashutka? I do. But a lot of you who have moved here in the last 20 years say, I don't remember that. Well, you don't remember that because you got Michael Coleman, and now you have Andrew Ginther, and we're in our 6th straight term of Democratic rule, and it is an epic disaster. So that's another weekend in Columbus, Ohio. We'll start with that. We'll work our way to the national news. We'll work our way to the economy. Kamala Harris's pick for vice president. You know, for the first time in my life, I agree with Tim Ryan, the former congressman who lost to J.D. Vance in the Senate race. Tim Ryan and I agree on something. His pick for Kamala's vice president is my pick for vice president, with different motivation, of course.
Intervals of clouds and sun, hot afternoon, high today 92, partly cloudy, warm and humid delight, low 72. Sun and patchy clouds, a hot, humid day tomorrow. Thunderstorm in the afternoon, we could get some downpours, the high 91. Clouds and sun, not as warm but humid Wednesday, the high 80. Clouds and humid for Thursday, and the high 86. Cloudy Friday, the high again 86. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
For over 30 years, a Gentle Dentist has been making patients smile.
It was everything they advertised. The staff were courteous, professional, knowledgeable, and best of all, they treat you like a person, not a number. They listen to your concerns and tell you what they're doing throughout the appointment. They make every effort to make you as comfortable as possible. I would highly recommend the Gentle Dentist.
How can we make you smile? The Gentle Dentist. Call 614-431-3311.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leak filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/Borka to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/Gorka and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
The price of gas and oil remains strong, and Goldman Sachs predicts the growth in demand to keep growing for years to come. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. become more energy independent while utilizing your tax savings for 2024. Your patriotic investment may generate monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are an SEC accredited investor and can make a $200,000 investment, you can deduct nearly 100% of this investment in 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. Investing in Encore Energy is an operator direct investment in horizontal oil drilling and production technology in an area of proven production where more than 100 wells have been drilled. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment for 2024. Call 1-800-278-7455. That's 1-800-278-7455.
The Caribbean is calling. Dennis
60
Prager here.
seconds.
Join me on an unforgettable cruise to the Caribbean this November. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Turks and Caicos, and much more. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine
30
of
seconds.
Port Holland, America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself with riveting shows and breathtaking views. We'll be joined by special guest Sean McDowell, and we'll both share fresh insights, current events, discuss happiness and our future in America in light of the election. November 29th to December 8th of this year. Secure your spot today by calling 855-565-5519 or online at pragercruise.com.
Ooh, man, you should see the living room of the Hooley house. There are cartons everywhere, clothes everywhere. 2 kids going to college. The packing, we're getting ready for that. One on the way back today, one on the way in 2 weeks. And both of them are taking one thing with them. That is a MyPillow, because if you want to sleep well in a college dorm, you can't go with whatever they say passes for pillows that are issued by the schools. No, my friend. You need to get your college student good rest. You want them to bring home good grades. They got to be rested and ready for every day. And that starts with a good night's sleep. Probably not 8 hours like you and I strive for every night, because there's a lot going on at college, but you will not pay a lot to outfit your son or daughter with fantastic sleep products from MyPillow.com. Now, if you use my promo code Bruce, you can get a queen size MyPillow for just $25, and you can get Giza Dream bed sheets, not even a queen size set, because you don't need that at college. The beds are too small. Check out the prices and the savings. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. I had great fun making great sport of former term-limited Congressman Tim Ryan of Ohio when he ran against J.D. Vance, because Tim Ryan, like all Democrats, didn't want to answer tough questions. And thankfully, the people of Ohio saw through his line of garbage about him being a champion of the working man. Hopefully, they will see through it similarly on November the 5th, when Sherrod Brown, another career political hack like Tim Ryan, who's fooled workers in Ohio's ever-decreasing industrial towns. He has fooled people for years. Sherrod Brown has it. He's a man of the people. But Tim Ryan and I, here on August 5th, we agree on something. And that is that Kamala Harris should select Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. We may get the announcement today, because the Middle East is blowing up. Iran is supposed to be threatening Israel. The economy is, I don't want to say the economy is in free fall, because, we have big losses in the market and from time to time, and then we have a bounce back. The tech sector is struggling. We'll talk with Josh Pick about this in just a little over an hour. I don't want to cause you to do something rash, because panic is the worst thing that you can do as a motivation to move your money around or pull your money out of the market. I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm just saying that a lot of people are paying attention today to the Dow, to the S&P 500, to the NASDAQ, and what's happened in the aftermath of the bad jobs report on Friday, which indicates that maybe we're not going to have a soft landing. Maybe we're going to land with, half a parachute or a blown tire on the airplane. I don't know. I just know that the news today is not favorable to the Biden administration. So if they name the vice presidential candidate for Kamala Harris today, it won't surprise me. It would surprise me and make me happy if Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is the choice. Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania probably should be the choice. He seems to have a lot of approval in his state. He can pawn himself off as a guy who can cross the aisle and maybe pull some independents to Kamala Harris, make her more likable, which I don't know if that's possible. Wait, let me play. Just, I was going to play this later. I'll probably play it again later. If you want to know why Kamala Harris is someone that, if she's elected president, will depress me like no previous presidential election in my lifetime. This is why.
And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. Turn that
off. They applauded just so she'd stop laughing, I think. Kamala Harris. No, that was not Margaret Hamilton in The Wizard of Oz. That was The Wicked Witch of the West, Presidential Election Edition 2024, Kamala Harris. Josh Shapiro would probably help her as her vice presidential candidate, but he's got this really serious flaw. He's Jewish, and he's a practicing Jew. And that will, of course, infuriate the left wing of the Democratic Party, which is a pretty significant wing of the Democratic Party. And I'm here for it. I want the popcorn. I need to, fortify my popcorn supply, because that convention in Chicago will be really, really interesting if we have the Hamas scarf-wearing idiots from college campuses protesting Josh Shapiro as the running mate for Kamala Harris. I'm here for that. I'm also here for Mark Kelly, the Arizona senator, who apparently helped China start a spy balloon company. Yikes. That won't play well in Middle America. But Tim Ryan, the former congressman from Ohio, who ran against J.D. Vance and lost, says that Tim Walz from Minnesota ought to be the choice, and I sure hope Tim Ryan is right. Now, here's what he says about Tim Walz, and since it's Tim Ryan, then I'm going to have to tell you the truth about Tim Walz. But first, let Ryan make his case. He says that the most crucial element for a vice president under Kamala Harris is that that candidate have the ability to connect with the voters, and Tim Walz, just a great guy at that. He was a former high school teacher, football coach, 24-year veteran of the Army National Guard, raised in a small town, spent his career working in agriculture and rural issues. I mean, he just sounds like a dreamboat, doesn't he? Tim Ryan says he's the most pro-labor governor in the country. Pro-labor governor in the country. So I wanted to see, is that true? You know what I did? I Googled, is Minnesota a right-to-work state? And the answer is no, it is not a right-to-work state, which is not pro-worker. They're going to force a union on you. So Tim Ryan's lying, but you and I both knew he would. Okay, so why do I want Tim Walz to run? Because according to The Hill, which ran this story over the weekend, Tim Walz helped, I'm quoting, Tim Walz helped turn Minnesota into a refuge for LGBTQ Americans, signing laws that shield access to gender-affirming health care and abortion, so we can kill the babies and we can cut the genitals off the minors, ban conversion therapy, so you can't, if you counsel them, you got to affirm them, you can't tell them, this is a temporary situation you're under, young lady, you're not really a boy, you don't really want to be a boy, you don't want to cut your breasts off. Can't do that in Minnesota, thanks to Tim Walz. He has also made it illegal for libraries to ban books solely because they have LGBTQ themes or characters. So I think that'll play great in the Bible Belt, don't you? I think the people of North Carolina eat that up. I think the people of Georgia will eat that up. Black voters in the state of Georgia who hate the LGBTQ agenda. Sorry, just telling you the truth. Other swing states, Arizona, all those people, all those retirees in Sun City, man, you know the number one thing on their mind is protecting the rights of LGBTQ Americans and protecting the right to cut the genitals off children. That'll play. Tim Walz, Mr. LGBTQ governor in Minnesota, that'll play in Arizona. That'll play in Nevada. That'll play in North Carolina. It might play in portions of Pennsylvania, probably in Michigan, where they have their own Wicked Witch, Gretchen Whitmer, as their governor. Wouldn't surprise me if it plays in Wisconsin. There are a lot of crazy people in Wisconsin, but yeah, pick Tim Walz. Please do that. Please, please, please. He also has on his resume that when he was a high school teacher, he was an advisor to his school's first Gay Straight Alliance, a student-led club supporting LGBTQ rights and families. Now, I don't want anybody to be bullied, but I also don't want this nonsense crammed down my throat or that of my children. And I don't think America does either. And Tim Walz has done it, and he would continue to do it. So please pick him.
Okay, we're dead on Salem News and stuff. I don't know what to do. I have no freaking clue what to do. I don't know how to get us anywhere to start. I don't know how to start this. Do you?
Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me on a cruise to the Caribbean this November. I'll share fresh insights about our world today, all while soaking up a tropical Caribbean paradise with you. Call 855-565-5519 or PragerCruise.com.
You'll sleep better knowing you've got a great deal on a great mattress because you've got it from Mac Mattress Outlet and the Discount Shopping Club. Right now, get a $500 certificate from Mac Mattress Outlet for any mattress purchase for only $250. These certificates.
It says in the playlist.
For details, log on to
You do have a QC Kinetics live read.
Are everyday aches and pains keeping you on the sidelines, preventing you from living your best life? Let me introduce you to Relief Factor. It's the supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. If everyday aches and pains are keeping you from enjoying the summertime activities, can't be out there with the grandkids, gosh, I hope you'll reach out to Relief Factor and let's see if we can get you out of pain. Wherever you're hurting, whether it's your back, your neck, your joints, your muscles, in 3 weeks or less, I'll bet you'll start to feel the difference all day, every day, like I did. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. You'll save on your first order. Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. Fight pain naturally, like I do with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Pain is no fun. If you have it, you'd love to get rid of it, and you'll go to extensive lengths to do so. You will visit doctors, you will accept any kind of medicine, and you will pay through the nose. But you don't have to do all that. What if your body could heal itself? Well, that would be wonderful, right? My friends at QC Kinetics can help you with that. Their clinics in Gahanna and in Dublin do a fantastic job helping your body do what your body is created to do, which is send healing agents to affected areas of your body. I mean, like you cut your finger, you don't go to the doctor, right? Why? Because your body will take it from there and will heal that cut. Well, with arthritis pain and other things of that sort, QC Kinetics can help by strategically removing your blood, injecting the platelets back into your body at strategic intervals, concentrating more than your body would typically have in those areas, and you get relief. You won't know if it will work for you until you consult with my friends at QC Kinetics, and you can do so by calling 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544, QC Kinetics. So we're having some, I think the official term is technical issues. Alan Rogers, chief engineer at 98.9 The Answer. The Salem News people lost their voice at the bottom of the hour there. It is. Oh my goodness. We can pull some people from the Salem News Channel over. Fix that. Who knows? Very good. It is a big deal. We got to keep people informed as to what's going on. Only the Middle East might be blowing up. That's all that matters. Yeah. No big deal. The markets are down. It's just, yeah, nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Kamala Harris doesn't have to come out and answer any questions because everything's great. Speaking of Kamala Harris, though I wish I didn't have to, she and former President Donald Trump are tied in the latest polling released Saturday. North Star Opinion Research says Harris has a national lead over Trump, 47 to 46. The margin of error is a little more than 2.5%, so that's not significant. When asked how well Bidenomics has worked for them, 54% said either not too well, 40%. Oh, wait a minute. I don't get this. They're giving me two different percentages for the same answer to the same question. 54% of the respondents said it has not worked too well or not at all. 40% said it's worked very well. So what, 35% of the people in America are liars. And whatever's left said somewhat well. So I hope that the Donald Trump campaign will stop talking about a lot of the things that make Kamala Harris exceedingly unlikable, which is her constant flip-flopping on whether she is black or Indian or Asian or Jamaican or whatever. I think that's reflective of the fact that she is someone who panders to voters. When she ran in Oakland and in California and in San Francisco, a lot of Asian voters out there, then she was stressing her Indian background. It's really not relevant to a presidential election. It might anger some African Americans, but I think you're going to anger as many by saying she's not black as saying that, you know, she's Indian. So I don't see any point in wasting time on that. There was an exchange between George Stephanopoulos and Byron Donalds over the weekend on Stephanopoulos' ABC show, where Stephanopoulos spent 4 minutes hectoring Byron Donalds. And Byron Donalds is a superstar when it comes to beating back the attacks of the left. But in this one, it was at least a 50-50 interchange, because Stephanopoulos, this is like the old adage in newspapers. They used to say, you know, don't pick a fight with somebody who buys their ink by the barrel. In other words, don't pick a fight with a newspaper editorial board, because they're going to have an opportunity to come at you as a candidate every single day. Likewise, don't pick a fight with someone who has control of a major news network in the country. Don't give them the ammunition to shoot you with. And when the Trump campaign talks about her race, and I would say he talks about it in an inarticulate way by saying she turned black, that doesn't help his campaign. I'm not interested in whether it's true or not. I'm interested in the fact that it doesn't help. And I do not want to raise my last daughter, who's my only minor child at home, nor do I want my older daughters to grow up and marry and have families in an America where Biden-Harris policies have at least 4 more years to run, and maybe 8, because if we're stupid enough to put her in office for 4, we're probably stupid enough to put her in office for 8. So that is why I want Trump to spend his time on things that really, really matter. And you can say, well, here you go again. You were never for Trump in the first place. Do you think Victor Davis Hanson, who was one of the first Trump people, is somebody who's anti-Trump? Of course not. Victor Davis Hanson is exceedingly pro-Trump. He's saying the same things I am saying about Trump and Vance and where they need to focus their campaign, not on things that don't matter, like her race, but on things that do matter, like her policies. Here's Victor Davis Hanson on the fact that Trump and Vance need to laser in on a very big target in Kamala Harris.
Well, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have only 90 days. It's a very irregular election. It's abbreviated and truncated, Brian, and they have to inform, expose, to tell the people what Kamala Harris has done in California for 8 or 10 years, what she did as vice president, what she said, because she's really the most left-wing candidate that's ever run in the modern era for presidency. And they don't have 1 second, 1 moment, 1 day to get into her DNA or her amorous past or any of that stuff. And then they have to be very careful about what they say. They say one thing off topic, and then the media gloms onto that, and they lose a half a day of what's important. If they just keep running ads showing Kamala Harris explaining inflation or diplomacy, it's pretty embarrassing, because the left has really swapped out a debilitated president for a challenged president. And if they just let her speak and can get her out in the public, I think the public is going to say there's no way that this person can be president. What have they done? This is crazy. But they have to stay on message, issue, and then get her out and debate her and let the public see her and let her talk to the public, because that is equivalent to, I hate to say it, not wanting her to be president.
I don't hate to say it. I don't want her to be president. You know, in the early days of Twitter, a friend of mine described it to me one time as 140 characters of rope, because very often people would tweet things and they would end up getting consequences, including loss of job and all kinds of things, from what they tweeted from their own account. Now Twitter is X, and it's a 280 characters of rope or more if you pay for Twitter Premium, which I have to stream the show live. Kamala Harris has given you unlimited amount of rope to hang her with. Play her talking. Just play her talking. That's all you have to do. She's winning. She's willing to win the campaign for you if you'll let her do it. But if you have to get out there and you have to say, oh, she turned black or this, that, and that, it's not going to help. I've said from the very beginning, back when we had a crowded field of candidates on the Republican side, I want to win. I want to win. That's why originally I was like, let's pick who they don't want to run against. Let's not pick who they do want to run against. Now, I'm all in for Trump. Don't mistake me. I'm all in for Trump. Any Republican is better than Biden and Harris. And that's what every Republican needs to do. If you have Republican friends who say, well, I just can't vote for Donald Trump. I saw this poll today that the numbers now are revealing that RFK being in the race, and he's tanked from like 20% down to 5%, but the 5% are largely Republicans who can't bring themselves to vote for Trump, which is really stupid. If you're thinking of voting for RFK and you're a Republican, you're just stupid. This is a binary election. If you're a Democrat, you want to waste your vote on RFK or Jill Stein or Cornel West, have at it. Well, stay home, have at it. But if you're a Republican and you want the border closed and you want gas to go down and you want us not to be involved in endless wars. I love this tweet from Ro Khanna, the California congressman today. He's trying to get in front of America supporting Israel. And Ro Khanna tweets that, you know, we have no business. Here it is. The U.S. must not be dragged into a war with Iran. The Iraq War was the biggest American blunder of the 21st century. Every candidate running this cycle must be clear on where they stand on this. And I responded, now do Ukraine. Now do Ukraine. We're pouring, what, hundreds of millions. We're probably pouring tens of billions of dollars into Ukraine, which is a country that cancels elections, but we're not going to support a Democratic ally in an area of the world as strategic as the Middle East. I know Ukraine grows grain. I think we have farmland here where we can grow our own if we have to. No, I don't want to give it to Putin, but I also know that you can't have everything. And one thing you can have when our economy is struggling, and struggling more as the markets unfold today, is spending a bunch of money on a war that has no end in sight. Now, I've read my Bible enough to know that Israel isn't going anywhere, but there will always be a remnant. And that is why I always say, because I try to present my views on this show through the prism of biblical truth, that if you're not on the side of Israel, you're on the wrong side. And Democrats are struggling to find a way to thread the needle to maintain their power and also to prove that their support of Israel is rock solid. which Joe Biden has said all along, which has proven not to be true. And I will demonstrate that with further proof next on the Bruce Hooley Show.
Intervals of clouds and sun, hot afternoon, high today 92, partly cloudy, warm and humid delight, low 72. Sun and patchy clouds, a hot humid day
So
tomorrow.
until the thing is fixed with the
Thunderstorm in the
news,
afternoon. We could
I guess
get
we're just
some
going to
downpours,
jump
the high 91.
probably early into the
Sun,
next
not as warm but
segment,
humid Wednesday, the
top
high
of the hour.
80.
We're not going to have news or
Clouds
sports
and
or anything.
humid for Thursday and the high 86. Cloudy Friday, the high again 86. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code SHOWER and get 15% off your first purchase with code SHOWER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, acidified body wash, or new Lumi Plus sweat control. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER for 15% off your first purchase. With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free with Lumi's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER to save 15% today.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
If you're a business owner and a listener to The Answer, you might not realize that the conservative news and talk content that you enjoy is advertiser supported. Our loyal audience loves to do business with the advertisers who make our programming possible. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some advertisers who avoid The Answer because they don't like what we do here. That's their loss, because our listeners are eager to support advertisers who support our conservative programming. To learn how to reach our audience with your business's message and support this station, please contact me at 614-318-0401 or click on How to Advertise at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com. And remember, when you advertise on 98.9 The Answer, our loyal audience know that you care about our programming as much as they do.
New fuels are being sold at gasoline filling stations in certain locations. Today, you can buy gas with 15% ethanol, 30%, or even 85%. But these ethanol fuel blends are not best for your mower, chainsaw, or generator. I'm Chris Kaiser, president of the Outdoor Power Equipment Institute, to remind you to look before you pump. Only use gasoline that is E10 or less in your small engine equipment to keep it running strong. Get more information at lookbeforeyoupump.com.
I got a text on Saturday afternoon from a very happy customer who got their carpet by going to brucehooley.com and clicking on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner of the page. She has a beautiful home. She wants to show it, to sell it, to move to another home, and she needed her carpet done in an expedited fashion. We can do that on occasion at the brucehooley.com site when you click on the flooring tab and leave your information so that I can come out and measure your space and we can get on it. I also got a text from her complimenting our installers and what a great job they did. Yes, they do, because they are ours and they are not bidding jobs and going all over town and doing a shoddy job at your house where you can never find them again. That never happens with our installers because our guys are fantastic and they do great work. So if you need flooring, luxury vinyl plank for your kitchen, a mudroom, a basement, something that's indestructible, virtually so, waterproof as well, or beautiful new carpet. Go to brucehooley.com, click the flooring tab upper right-hand corner of the page, or see me at the store this afternoon just down from Costco on 161. So Iran is vowing revenge for Israel, embarrassing them by blowing up one of Hezbollah's top commanders in his bedroom at an Airbnb in Tehran. Like, this would be like if we took out Vladimir Putin while he slept in a castle in Moscow. This is how good Mossad and the IDF conducts their business. Remember the daring raid where they went into the neighborhood in Gaza and rescued hostages who were held in civilian apartments? Oh, gee. Not fair to blow up civilian areas in Gaza if you're Israel, because, I mean, that's where we're holding the hostages. And, you know, it's just not fair if you come in to get the hostages. They got this guy by finding out through intelligence that he stayed at a certain, like, fancy, I don't know if it was an Airbnb or whatever, but it was like a rental place, that he stayed at this place when he visited the mullahs in Iran. And so they planted a bomb there months ago, and the bomb was never detected. So I don't know. I've watched multiple episodes of The Americans and Jack Reacher and Jack Ryan and all those great shows. You know, you're like, wow, can they really do that? Yes, they really can. Put it in a light socket or put it under a bed, you know, disguise it as a box spring. Who knows? But they blew the guy up in Tehran. Okay, so now the Biden administration is like, you should de-escalate because we don't want to make Iran mad. Meanwhile, the, what do we got? 5, 6, 7, 8 American hostages still are not freed, and they're never mentioned by the Biden administration, who has pledged its rock-solid support for Israel. This is why Kamala Harris, as she gets ready to name a vice president, has a lot of people on the left saying, can't pick Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. Why not? He's very popular. He might win Pennsylvania for you. That's a state you got to have. Yeah, but he's Jewish. And the left wing of our party hates Israel and roots for the genocidal terrorists from Gaza. So here's John Kirby, White House bootlick, talking about the fact that the Biden administration has never, ever not been fully supportive of Israel. We will give you receipts for that after you hear this inane opinion by John Kirby.
We've been very, very consistent about not wanting to see this war escalate and get broader. We've also been very, very consistent about proving, not just with words, but with action, that we're going to stand up and defend Israel.
Ah, not just with words, but with action. Okay, so which action did you indicate your staunch, undying support for Israel? Would it have been when Joe Biden said he would halt some shipments of American weapons to Israel because he was afraid they would be used to kill civilians in Gaza? Would it have been then? Would it have been when Chuck Schumer stood up in the U.S. Senate and said that Benjamin Netanyahu was an impediment to peace and that Benjamin Netanyahu has been, and I quote, too willing to tolerate the civilian toll in Gaza, and that Benjamin Netanyahu should vacate the stage? A duly elected Democratic leader of an ally, the U.S. Senate Majority Leader, called for the democratically elected Prime Minister of an allied nation, our only Democratic ally in the Middle East, because it's the only Democratic country in the Middle East, to be removed from office. Is that the rock solid support? Is that the not just in words, but with actions? Yeah, sure, John Kirby. Sure. A different view from the sane side of the aisle comes from Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, who is a former Green Beret, who's fought over in the Middle East, talking about the Biden-Harris policy in the Middle East, which has done nothing but make the situation worse.
The Biden-Harris weak leadership, mismanagement, and frankly, bad decision after bad decision has practically invited this war and is making a hostage deal more and more unlikely, more and more distant. You have Harris lecturing Netanyahu on his visit to the United States on the international stage. Then you have Biden leaking what was supposed to be a private call so that he can look tough to his base, where he's telling Bibi, if you keep, I mean, he's blaming the Israelis for escalating, and then saying, if you do it again, you're on your own.
Yeah, shame on me for leaving out Kamala Harris's nasally scolding of Benjamin Netanyahu when he came. I will not be silent. Israel has the right to defend itself, but I will not be silent about Gaza deaths. Oh, if only you'd be silent on everything. But it all boils down to the fact that the foreign policy of the Biden and Harris administration is that winning is bad, losing is bad, but just kind of existing in the squishy middle. Or even if you lose like they did in Afghanistan, where it was uber embarrassing, and that's where Biden's poll approval numbers began to tank. When you lose, you just say, well, that was an extraordinary success. Remember the withdrawal from Afghanistan? That was an extraordinary success, he said. We got 13 American servicemen killed by a suicide bomber. And then in the debate, he's like, I'm the only one who's never had an American serviceman killed on his watch. You just mislabel it, also known as lying. And then you just wipe it from your mind. Which, of course, most things have been wiped from the mind of Joe Biden. It all boils down to the fact that they really think Obama, Biden, Blinken, Sullivan, Harris, all these nut jobs on that side of the aisle all believe that if they're just nice enough to terrorists, if we're just nice enough, we just give them another 10 pallets of cash, then they'll start to be nice to us. Michael Waltz, again, on the stupidity of that viewpoint.
Every time Iran, Russia, China sees daylight between us and Israel, they are going to escalate further. And then on the hostage deal, you have the mainstream media and Biden's people saying that taking out Hania, responding for Hezbollah killing 12 children is making it less likely. That's just completely ignorant of how the Middle East works. Terrorist organizations care about two things. They care about power and staying alive to do their attack again. And under Biden's deal, they would have gotten both. They would have stayed alive and they would conduct future October 7th. If they start seeing their leadership getting taken out all over the world, even in Tehran, they are much more likely to come to a deal to survive to live another day. I mean, this is just maddening how bad this White House has managed this situation, and neither are fit to be commander-in-chief.
Amen. He was so frustrated he was smacking his head about how stupid they are on these policies. You know, I've told you before, a long time ago, when a friend of mine had children, and one of them was acting up, and he was telling me about it, and I said, well, what did you do? And he's like, well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Like, you know, he was joking. But you can't negotiate with terrorists. Oh, unless you're Joe Biden, and then you can give the merchant of death back to Russia in exchange for a WNBA basketball player. And when you can give them really bad people who've stolen hundreds of millions of dollars in cybercrime and been spies around the world that have affected geopolitical politics for American citizens that they continue to capture without ever issuing a warning. Hey, look, if you go to Russia and you get grabbed, there's nothing we can do about it. Don't go, because we're not going to stop. We're not going to keep giving them enemies that we have arrested. No, that'd make too much sense.
We're 1,000 miles from the southern
Bruce,
border, but
I'm going to have you play Josh out of there like we originally thought.
Okay.
It's easier
Charged with aggravated murder after a body was found in an alley just north of Cincinnati. Furman Garcia Gutierrez is an illegal immigrant who's been to jail nearly a dozen times, deported 7 times.
Senator Sherrod Brown voted 10
All right,
times
so
to
this
protect
segment.
sanctuary cities in Ohio.
Hey, thanks for joining.
Dangerous, illegal
We'll be
immigrants
back
who
tomorrow
just
with another. You can catch the second hour of the show at the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page.
and across the country. Call
Bruce Hooley
Senator
Show
Sherrod
Facebook
Brown
page, right?
at
And
216
the 989 The Answer Facebook page.
522-7272.
Maybe we'll have a VP by tomorrow.
So we're going to be like 4 minutes.